Okay, I have the Love Kankei Floating Shelves here. Let's open them up and see what's inside. We've got a little bag of hardware, and that's filled with short screws, long screws, and some drywall anchors. The long screws are 1.5 inches and a Phillips head. The short screws are also a Phillips head, but a 1/2 inch long. And the drywall anchors are 1 inch long. So you see we get 3 different sized shelves in this pack right here. They're all made of paulownia wood, and that's nice because it's a type of wood that matures in 10 years, and it's lightweight, but it's still really strong. They're all 5/8 of an inch wide and 4.5 inches deep. The longest one is just under 17 inches. The medium-sized one is a shade under 13 inches. And the smallest one is just a touch under 9 inches across. And I like the design and texture that these have right here. This is a torched wood finish right here, and it's got a little bit of texture to it, and it looks nice and rustic and vintage. It's really cool. And they pair with 6 of these powder-coated, rust-free metal brackets right here. They have a smooth, polished finish to them. It looks like they're about 9/16 of an inch wide. And at their longest, they span about 4.25 inches. And at their tallest in this direction, they look about 4.75 of an inch. And you can see there's 2 holes on this part of the bracket and 1 hole on this part of the bracket. And you get the nifty little installation guide, but let's do it right here, right now. With these shelves here, there's only one way to put the brackets on them, and that's by inserting the piece of wood into the bracket like that. And then you'll see that those 2 holes on the bottom right there will accept the smaller screws, and then it will hang up like this, and you'll kind of have like a side bracket that will protect things on both sides. I suppose theoretically you could attach the board to the bracket in this fashion right here, but the way that this screw is designed right there means that it wants to hang with this part down, and so with that part down, you probably want to have the wood hanging on it as opposed to hanging from it like that. But before we get started, let's collect our tools. You're going to need a pencil, you may need a hammer, you're going to need a screwdriver with a Phillips head. I suggest a laser level, and don't forget a power drill to put our holes in the wall. We're going to start with our pencil by marking our board. First, let's decide what side of the board that we want up, and I think I like this side more. Now let's decide which side we want to the front, and I think I will want this side to the front. So I know that the back of the bracket will be going into the wall. I should insert it in there like that, and then I'm going to mark my spots right here. You can see there's a little bit of gap right there, so I can either make the gap on that side or I can make the gap on the other side. I think I'm going to push mine all the way to the back corner. So now I'll mark my spots with the pencil. Make sure it's nice and lined up. Now you can see that I start by pushing the screw down into the wood as far as I can, and then screwing it in until it's about this far out. And then I'm going to retract that screw and do it on the other side. Now with both of those holes started, I'm going to put the bracket over top of those holes and put the screws back in and drill them in all the way. And now I'm going to do that same thing for every single bracket on every single board. Okay, once we have all the shelves put together and looking like this, now we can decide where we're going to place them. I'm going to put my first one below the thermostat right here. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it, and then you can just repeat the steps for all 3 shelves. So step 1 will be finding our location on the wall, and then we're going to put a mark right into this little slot up here. Okay, I know I want mine to go roughly right there, so I will just mark one of these holes right now. Now I'm going to take my laser level here and make a straight line across the wall, at least as far as I think that shelf is going to go. I'm going to drill a hole into the first mark. Now I'm going to get my first hanging screw in there. Now I can hang up the first side of this, and then bring the second side up to the line that I made using the laser level. Now that I found that spot, I can mark it to make my second hole. Let's drill the spot we made and insert the second screw. Now we can hang up the other side of the shelf. And it's a little wobbly right now because I have the screws out. I'm going to tighten them up a bit. And with the screws tightened up, it's much more stable right here. And we can just repeat these steps with the rest of the shelves. Let's get that done. These were all really easy to hang, and they all feel really sturdy. I think these are great for hanging plants, books, music, speakers, whatever you might want to. And that's because they're said to be able to hold up to 40 pounds, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on it right here, and I can tell that it's not even moving. These feel quite strong to me, and I think they're going to be great for anyone who wants some shelves that are really easy to install tall and also look great. And if there's any negatives to these shelves right here, I'm a bit confused on why they call them floating shelves. I can definitely see these brackets here. I know that it's not floating right there, so why would they call it a floating shelf, especially if it doesn't come with any kind of anti-gravity technology?